Welcome in to Moving the Chains. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got another great off-season interview lined up for you guys. The new head coach of the Dorman Cavaliers, Dustin Curtis. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Beautiful day up here in Spartanburg. Roebuck, baby. Roebuck Nation.
That's right. We appreciate your time. No, we really do. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, be sure to follow Coach Curtis and Dorman on Twitter and Facebook and keep up with those guys. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, Movinchains. Super simple there. But Coach Curtis was hired in December. He comes from AC Flora, where he was the head coach. Also spent time as a head coach at Westwood and an assistant at Spring Valley. Has a 43-23 overall record and won the 2020 4A state championship with Flora. Coach, let's just start there. How's the transition been getting up to Spartanburg?
You know, it took a little while. I'd lived in Columbia my whole life, and I'll first say that AC Flora is a fantastic place, and there's a whole bunch of really great kids down there, and that was not easy. Walking away from that and those kids and the community and the parents, and just a really, really special place, and will always be in my heart. And I honestly I didn't think I would be anywhere else for most of my career. And sometimes God calls you to other places, and that really is genuinely how I feel like this happened and how it went down. And, growing up and living in Columbia my entire life, it did take a little while to get used to the move. And, you maybe go, oh, God, was I really supposed to leave Columbia and doing this and that? But I tell you, the last month or so, especially, finally got a contract on a house, and things are kind of settling in, and my wife and kid were able to come up here fourth quarter. And since that point, I think the transition's been a lot better. I can't speak highly enough about the administration here and the kids, the people, the coaches that have been involved with our program right now. They are fantastic, and the kids have really bought in. The coaches have really bought into some of the culture changes and tempo changes and things like that. And we've had a heck of a first 7 days of practice, and it's going really, really well. And I think we're getting locked in. We almost got all the coaches here. We got a few that won't be here till summer because they're coming from out of town, and even got one coming from Texas. So it'll be great when they all get here. But so far, so good.
So just sticking to the AC Flora, that's traditionally a baseball school, but you guys had a magical run in 2020. Can you talk about that state championship run and what it was like changing that culture there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Coach Hallett has done an unbelievable job of setting kind of a tone, for AC Flora. And he, right around 2000, he kind of started his big run there. Been there for such a long time, and he's got a great shot. Wish those boys luck. He's got a great shot to win another one, and coached a bunch of those baseball kids on the football team the last few years. And there's some great kids, and they're competitors, and you can tell by the way that they're responding and in the playoffs. But, it was just kind of one of them things where you just got to kind of trust your gut, trust the build. And there was guys that were there before me that had a lot of success. So, it's not like I just walked in and waved some magic wand. Dean Howe, I think, started the process, and Reggie Shaw did a great job. We had a great run in 2014. Colin Drafts came in, and I know he had a down year, but then he turned it right around the next year. And then, we were blessed enough to have kids and coaches that put us in a position to lose 4 games in 3 years. And 2 of them last year were both by point, which I hope never happens to me again in my life. That's pretty excruciating. But a lot of it is just the culture of the community, man. They just really support. The kids expect to win. That started not only with Coach Hallett, but also with Micah Kurtz in the weight room, back in, around 2009, I think he got there. And, kind of those things combined, they just kind of rubbed off on the rest of the school and the rest of the expectations. And then you had basketball step up with Leon Brunson, and you had Coach Staley come in and do some of the same things. So it was an unbelievable ride while I was there, and I'll always be a Falcon.
Awesome. Well, Coach, people who may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little about how you got into coaching, and also maybe what some of your styles are and what people can expect from Dorman this year?
Yeah, I probably felt in my heart that I was going to be a coach from high school. I played for Jimmy Satterfield, who won a national championship at Furman, and he had guys on his staff that are still coaching today. Bobby Lamb came through that program, I think, as a player, and you had Bobby Johnson, and he coached with Art Baker, and he coached under Dick Sheridan, and there's just a whole lot of great men that came from that tree. Robbie Caldwell, and Coach Satterfield just kind of made football fun. he made it about people and about relationships, and that really kind of hit me the right way, and it ended up feeling like a calling. So I was an equipment manager at South Carolina. I was only 5'8" and don't run real fast, so playing big time college football wasn't in my future, but I was around the program, and I was there under Coach Holtz, and then during the Spurrier transition, and man, that was just learned so much being at practice every day and watching those guys coach and seeing their leadership styles and seeing how they got things done, how they thought, how they organized practice. I think that was really, really great experience for me, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Getting to watch from practice under two Hall of Fame coaches, and then I started at Spring Valley under Jimmy Noonan and Quay Farr, and then that's when I went to Flora in 2009 under Dean Howe, and became the offensive coordinator under Reggie Shaw in 2013 before going to Westwood in 2016, and then back to Flora in 2019. But ironically, I know it's been talked about a lot, even mentioned in my press conference, but Coach Satterfield coached us to a state championship in 2000, where we lost to the Dave Shaw-led Dorman Cavaliers when we were up 24-0, about 10 minutes left in the third quarter, and our quarterback Chris Clark hurt his hand, and things went really, really negative from there. Coach Gutshall and all had an awesome. Me and him had a great talk about that game. He remembered everything. It was unbelievable. He's like Rain Man. He remembered every adjustment from halftime, everything that they did. And he still really can't believe to this day. He made the comment. He said everything that could have went wrong for you guys to lose that game pretty much went wrong. And he's like, I felt terrible for y'all. I was glad to win. But he certainly felt terrible for us. But that was a great experience playing in that game, and seeing a future Hall of Famer on the other sideline. You kind of knew back then, even as a young player, that Dorman was a special place, and he was a really special coach. And it's an honor to be given the opportunity to follow in his footsteps.
Well, that's you've answered pretty much half our questions with that one right there. But I know that's got to be great taking over for Coach Gutshall. But what styles do you plan on implementing with the program? What types of schemes do you plan on running offensively and defensively?
Defensively, we're a 3-4 reduction. A lot of the Mike Ayers, Wofford style defense has been up here. His coordinator, his former coordinator is the guy up at Army now. The guy at Georgia State runs his stuff too. It's something that we did at Flora, and it's something that Coach Wade Cooper, who's been here 9 years already under Coach Gutshall, it's stuff that it's kind of been a change-up defense for him here in the past. But that's going to be our base now, and really excited about that. I think we have a lot of length at the linebacker position, a lot of speed at the second, third levels, and I think that that style of defense attributes really well, to the kind of players that we have, and the kind of way that we can attack and bring different pressures and play different coverages, things like that. So we'll be pretty varied on the back end, but it'll look pretty consistent up front. Until the ball snapped, and then we got guys coming from different areas and hopefully hide the reductions real well. And then offensively, it will be a lot different from what I did at Flora, and a lot of that's because Ken Floyd got the head job at Flora, and I'm so proud of that guy, and he's going to do such a good job. What an unbelievable, heart and soul that is for that AC Flora offense, and his tempo and his demeanor and the way he is with the kids, the way he teaches the run game is as good as I've ever been around. And Coach Floyd's going to do great. And so when I couldn't bring my OC, I went to a former player, and that's Stephen Cagle. And Stephen Cagle played for Jamie Chadwell at Charleston Southern, and he was my quarterback at AC Flora when I was the quarterbacks coach under Dean Howe and Bart Miller. And Stephen was he was a really good high school quarterback, but he kind of ended up looking more like a tight end in college, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And he ended up playing tight end, but did it really, really well. So he has such an awesome perspective. Growing up, his dad is still the head coach. The defensive coordinator at Gilbert, Mark Cagle. If you guys know who that is, Mark was the first head coach at White Knoll High School. But Mark was our defensive coordinator at Lexington before White Knoll opened. And so I remember, my current OC, Stephen Cagle, when he was a little 4- and 5-year-old running around the fields at Lexington High School. And then I got a chance to coach him at AC Flora because his dad came over with that first staff with me and Dean and Bart Miller. And Stephen was a 3-year starter at quarterback. So growing up around football, around a defensive coordinator as a father, then you go play high school quarterback, a 3-year starter, was all-state senior year. And then he goes down to Charleston Southern and plays tight end. And he is not Antonio Gates. Okay, guys, I don't know how else. He was more of the run blocking variety of tight end. And but did a great job. He just got such a different perspective about the box, and now he doesn't just know the perimeter. He's so savvy. He's football smart. He needs a hobby, honestly. All he does is go to church, eat food, love on his family, and worry about football. And he worries about football about 24/7, unless he's doing one of those other things. And his energy out here has been phenomenal. The kids have really bought in. So formationally, tempo wise, a lot of change ups, a lot of motions. It does look a lot like what you see from Coastal. And, we'll tailor the play calling to the quarterback's abilities. But the eye candy and the moving around and the out formationing people will be pretty consistent no matter who's in.
Awesome. Coach, I know you're only a couple days into spring practice. I don't know how much film you had to watch from last year, but, what kind of team do you guys have coming back? Any guys that we should be on the lookout for? I know you got a couple big linemen that are getting some big recruit offers for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So Marquis and DJ, obviously, steal the show, and rightfully so. It's been a long time since I've had an offensive line anywhere close to what we have here. And my first year at Spring Valley under Jimmy Noonan, we had Quentin Richardson, who went to South Carolina. We had Mason Cloy, who went to Clemson, and we had Cal Fisher, who went to Vandy. And I've got almost that right now. We got a kid named Graham Smith who gets almost no publicity, and the three of them work out at the same lifting rack every single day. And Graham's a little shorter than those guys. So I get it. He doesn't quite, pass the measurables to be a big time prospect, but we really feel good about him, playing FCS football or some level like that, he's the strongest of the three. He's really, really good too. And, Graham's going to be a great player. He's out this spring with a little bit of a meniscus cleanup, but we're excited to get him back in June. And we got DJ Porter, and Will White, who have picked up a lot of offers recently, from places like Wofford and Dartmouth. I think DJ Porter's got one from Navy, and he's on the cusp of getting one from the Air Force Academy. We're talking long, athletic guy, really run. And DJ can play both ways, but he's mostly going to be receiver for us. And Will White plays corner, and he's got really great wingspan, good speed. He got hurt last summer, so he didn't play last year. And we're exceptionally happy to have him back with his length and his athleticism back there. It's going to be a big pickup this summer, too, as we develop in 7-on-7. And Demarius Foster, honestly, when I watched the tape from last year, the tailback stood out more than anybody. And just from a high school football player standpoint, Demarius might be the best player on the team. And he ain't bigger than a minute, but that kid can go. He runs tough. He's elusive. He's got home run speed. He can catch the ball out the backfield. And complementing him this year will be a kid named Kendall Lewis, who is a big bruising back. Didn't even play running back last year. Was at linebacker. And Kendall is my height. Legitimately, he's about 5'8", squats 500, and can dunk a basketball. And I'm not telling any lies right there. He is going to be tough to tackle. He is exceptionally strong and has really good bursts. Not top end speed like Demarius, but the ground and pound combo of those two guys will be exceptional. Got a tight end named Cason Gilliam, he's pretty good, pretty physical, can run, really looks the part. And if you remember JJ Arcega-Whiteside, his younger brother Keenan is a rising sophomore for us, and he has a lot of the same qualities. And we hope he fills out like his brother and gets that speed like his brother, because, man, he's a great kid, great family, doing an unbelievable job. And we've got linebackers, Javen Bradley and Charles Smith, who I think have had a really, really good spring as well. And we got some safeties, Grayson Paris and Brandon Teamer have played very well at safety. And then opposite of Will White, another one that's standing out is Frazier, who played a bunch last year too. And those guys, again, we like our second, third level. We got some guys standing out on the D-line, but I want to keep seeing them be physical and keep getting after it, because we graduated a bunch up there from last year. But I think the guys have potential. And, I'm kind of doing this on purpose. I'm not going to name names because I want them to keep working, and I want to see who has the best spring spring game, so then I can brag on them come June.
I tell you what, we're fine being a motivational tool all the time, so don't worry about that. We'll help you out as much as we can.
So a premier program like Dorman commands a premier schedule, and I'm sure it's not hard for you guys to pick guys out. Well, holy crap. I mean, you got Greenville, North Augusta, and Greenwood just out of conference. And then your region, due to the reclassification, Dorman moves over to that Region 2 5A with Gaffney, Burns, Spartanburg, and Bowling Springs. How exciting is that, and how difficult of a challenge is it for your program?
Well, first of all, you can't come to a place like this expecting not to be in every game. And, you got to come here with the expectations that these guys hired you for a reason. This administration up here, they saw something in you. They saw something in your plan and in your presentation. And, I got to trust my gut, and I got to do things, the way that I feel led to do them, and not worry about how many games I have against tough opponents. We just got to worry about the preparation, day by day. I remember one of the Jimmy Satterfield's favorite quotes was, "It's not the trophy but the race, it's not the quarrel but the chase." And that really is kind of how I live, and kind of how we prepare. We try to come out here and have fun every day, and in spring sometimes that's tough to do because there's no real opponent every Friday. So you come out here for 3 weeks or so, and you try to get after it, and you try to have fun. And we're kind of setting the tone and the tempo for how we want things to be all summer long and into August. And it is a great schedule, and I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to be able to play some of these teams that I've never played before. I've never coached a game against Gaffney. I've never coached against Spartanburg, and I've never coached against Burns. And obviously, it'll be really cool going against Matt Reel again. Both of us played each other in that 2020 state title game. He does a great job. His team's going to be really well coached, really well prepared. They're going to play hard. They're going to be physical. And Coach Shaw used to be my boss. And so obviously anytime you're in that situation, we don't have to say it out loud really, but yeah, I mean, you get excited about those because it's kind of neat when you have those relationships with other guys. And, Coach Hodge is somebody I've admired for a really long time. When I was a young coach, I kind of talked to him a lot at FCA team camp and things, and I just had a chance to interact with him and watch what he's done from Carolina High School to Chapman to Spartanburg. And I mean, all the guy does is win. And so it's a great region with a great schedule. I don't think I've ever met Coach Jones at Gaffney, but obviously coming off a state title, I'm sure with that quarterback back, they're going to be everybody's favorite to potentially do it again. So we know we're not viewed as being on top of the mountain, but we're looking forward to each and every day we get to come out here and prepare to try to climb it.
A couple easier ones here, Coach, before we let you go here. We talked to your friend Matt Quinn a couple weeks ago, said you're a big golf guy. How's the golf game looking? Have you found a favorite course over in Spartanburg yet?
So when I was in high school, I was a member at Golden Hills in Lexington, and that's the last time that I was able to be a member, mostly because when you're young, you can't afford it. But finally at a point now, we're actually moving into Carolina Country Club. My wife and Jessica and my son Grant and I, we close on a house in June. And so I will be a member there and have already joined the club. And I am looking forward to summer afternoons. I don't really care if it's 98. I'm still going to be on the dang course playing, mostly because next time I play Matt, I can't be letting that guy win. He doesn't let you forget. He doesn't let you forget it all. And obviously, I know y'all talked that we also play Matt too. I guess I should have brought that out in the schedule talk. But honestly, you kind of hate it, but you love it at the same time because you get to see somebody that you love and care about and that you're pulling for. And obviously, somebody's he's either gonna drive home a short distance and be upset that he lost, or I'm gonna have a freaking 2-hour bus ride being upset that we lost. So either way, you hate it for one or the other. But man, he's gonna do a great job, and he's so excited. I've almost just kind of sensed new life in him for what he feels like he's got going on there, and really proud of him and everything that he's accomplished too.
Thank you for that. I can seg that into a shameless plug. If you haven't heard, go listen to our interview with Matt Quinn at North Augusta. Great guy. But also the obligatory Movin the Chains food question. You're in Spartanburg County. Have you been to Ike's or the Beacon yet?
All right. So I struggle with that one because I know when I go to those places, I need to have not eaten all day. Okay. And I've been to the Beacon before lots of times, most of the time, when you come up to Wofford games and stuff like that up here. Matthew Bennett is the run game coordinator at Clinton. He's the first person that introduced me to Ike's. And for some reason, every time I think, oh, hey, babe, let's go to Ike's. It's closed or
it's a Monday.
Dude, I'm telling you, 90% of the restaurants in Spartanburg are closed on Monday. It's the most unbelievable phenomenon I've ever seen. They clearly people must not eat out up here on Mondays. It's I don't know. It's like diet day. I've been to both. They are both phenomenal. But the brunch at Bar 1884 is one of the best brunches I've ever had. The beer garden food, like Freight Yard. So there's a guy up here named Crib. I really don't know his first name, but he owns Crib's Restaurant. So he owns Willie Taco. He does Freight Yard. He does Crib's Kitchen. Pretty much everything that guy touches is gold if you put it in your mouth and chew it. And if you go to anything up here that he's a part of, you're going to leave really happy and probably full.
I can vouch for Willie Taco. That's a great one. So I can only imagine the other ones are good.
I didn't know when I left Columbia if I was going to have something to fulfill the weekly need I had of Cantina 76, but Willie Taco definitely does the job, no doubt.
All right, Coach. Well, let's wrap this thing up. I know you got things to do, just leaving the practice field there. What are some goals for the 2022 Dorman Cavaliers?
We just want to compete in every single ball game, and we do feel like this senior class is talented enough for us to be extremely successful. We do have to continue to develop at quarterback and defensive line, and we got a lot of new starters in some places. But anytime you feel like you have the speed that you have, and that you have the bodies you have on the offensive line, you should be able to win some football games, barring guys staying healthy. And, we want to compete. We want to establish our culture. And, we know that we got a long way to go. But we do believe in this team. We believe in these kids. I think I've seen some great leadership so far, some great buy-in from the coaches. The coaches are coaching their tails off, and I couldn't be more proud of them. And especially all the guys that welcomed me here. There's probably 12, 14 guys that are still here from Coach Gutshall's staff. And, they didn't have to buy into a younger guy's vision when some of them have been here. Some of them have been here about as long as I've been coaching. And, but they have, and, I feel like they've wrapped their arms around it, not just welcomed it. And, we have great staff chemistry. We seem to have great player chemistry. And as long as we can develop that leadership and shore up some positions over the summer, we think we got a chance to be pretty good.
Well, Coach, this has been great. I really appreciate your time. For all you viewers out there, be sure to follow Coach Curtis on Twitter, Facebook. Follow the Dorman program as well for all their updates, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well at Movin Chains, MOVINCHAINS. Coach, we really do appreciate it. Look forward to talking about our practice or game next year and getting to meet you. But this has been awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks all so much. Look forward to being on your show again.
That's right.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye, buddy.
Appreciate it.